What do you know? Something for me for a change.
Huh, it's been a while.
Well, let's sit down, grab some popcorn, and watch ourselves a good old Hanna-Barbera show. I think it was Hanna-Barbera.
Yeah, it was Hanna-Barbera.
Yeah, it's Hanna-Barbera.
Yeah, it was.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All these
And also, yeah, that's...
all the people who made all the games.
Actually, as a matter of fact, one of those people claims to fame is Heavy Iron Studios, the same people that made Battle for Bikini Bottom.
Oh.
And the movie game, yeah.
Renderware. Okay. Guys!
Son of a bitch, it's time for some copyright!
Yep, welcome to Scooby-Doo 900 Frights for the Nintendo GameCube, and in this case, the PlayStation 2, which, just as a slight disclaimer, both versions of the game run on, as you saw, the Renderware engine, which also was the same engine that they used for Sonic Heroes, but unlike with Heroes, I don't think the differences between the GameCube and PlayStation 2 version are quite as glaring. I think at worst, it just has like a few slight audio desyncs here and there.
I see.
And for those wondering why this looks so weird, this is them trying to recreate the original animation in 3D models with not as much expressive. When was this released?
I don't know. I want to say it might have been, if not a launch title, then at least a very early PlayStation 2 title.
Yeah, like, this definitely screams early 2000s jank.
Well, I'll give them effort for doing it, and welcome.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Hype. You're the lead.
Didn't I have a... Alrighty. Well, like I said, I decided to pick this game because I had a bit of a fondness for this. It was actually the first PlayStation 2 game I've ever played, as well as one of the first games I ever got for my GameCube, back when my dad got for me for... It was either my birthday or Christmas several years ago, but we'll get a little bit more into that later. But right now, we're about to start our ever-so-engaging story.
You smell that salty sea air, Scoob? You know what that means, buddy. Yeah.
Is that the guy who does the voice of Captain Hero and stuff?
Clams.
Just Harnell? No. This is actually during the days where both Scooby and Shaggy, yes, they were both voiced by the same person at one point, they were both voiced by Scott Ennis.
Who sadly passed
And
away.
for the...
Aww.
Wait, he did?
Yeah, he passed away a couple years ago.
We keep losing
I guess
good...
that would explain why they haven't brought back and stuff.
We keep losing good Scooby actors nowadays.
Now, how about the other actors and actresses? Are those from the show?
Only Fred is. In fact, Fred, Frank Welker here, is actually, real quick, Fred, what do you think of this mansion here? Man, this place is a dump.
Just the look on his face of... Also here's Daphne's totally not adopted sister.
Totally not.
Cousin, actually.
Oh, okay, well that makes it perfect. Okay, her totally biological cousin.
And
Man,
she totally doesn't sound the exact same as Daphne.
Yeah, they are voiced by the same actress.
Man, your window shutters are kind of wild in the background there.
It's my uncle,
Going
the famous
a winner.
inventor, Professor Alexander Graham.
Graham?
He was just
Graham?
Is it Graham Bell?
New top secret invention when he disappeared without a trace.
Don't listen to that skank.
No,
Like, I was just like,
She speaks lies!
I was gonna say straight up. They know Alexander Graham is a real person, right?
yeah, Shaggy.
I think it's supposed to be like a play on words, because I don't think it's the exact same name. But anyway, just to go back to Logan's question about the original actors, that is Frank Welker as Fred, who is, with the exception of a few spin-offs like A Pup Named Scooby-Doo, has been voicing the character ever since the series' creation, and to this very day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's why.
In fact,
That's why
he's even the current voice of Scooby now.
I was gonna say he's played Fred and everything except for like live action movies, of course, and stuff like that.
Well, duh.
But yeah, I was gonna say yeah. So that's why I can only hear one Fred voice. Period. So meanwhile, they're gonna go off on their own, and nothing bad's gonna happen to them.
Totally
also,
not.
Oh no, nothing at all.
Also, audience, don't be confused. That is not Hype's brilliant editing at work. That canned laughter is part of the experience.
Yeah. That was all added into
And
by
devil
the
damn,
itself.
look at the size of those Scooby snacks.
Ooh, jumbo size.
How did they fit in the devil damn box? But yeah, that's something that Logan said. There is purposely canned laughter put in the game, just like in the show. And that's something that they carry over in all three of the GameCube era Scooby games, which If I still had copies of them, I probably would do lookouts of them as well, but unfortunately that's not entirely the case.
Also, here's some physics making no sense. The weighted object, he pulled the heavy thing off of the branch, and that actually made the branch fall down with increased weight?
I don't know. It's weird.
Anyway,
Welcome to the wonderful world of Hanna-Barbera, Logan.
yeah.
Where nothing makes sense and everything's about as dull as cardboard.
Where everything doesn't make sense, and you can always tell what's going to move because it's a slightly lighter color than the background paint.
Also, hello, Domnots. What are you doing here?
Oh, here's some tips on some things you will find around Mystic Manor. Mystic Manor is an attraction at Disneyland. Thank you very much. So, Hype, tell us about the game.
Yeah, the game is basically, well, and kind of like James said, it's basically the same people that made Battle for Bikini Bomb, and if you play that, you have a pretty good understanding of that. It's pretty much a basic 3D platformer. Yeah, pick up sandwiches for your extra health. You also get health pickups from enemies, but oh yeah, this here's to let you know that there is indeed ice physics in this game. But to be fair, they don't really use it all that much.
I mean, I was going to say for the animation of him slipping around the ice, it's actually not too bad. Also, they can't laugh. It's just going to happen whenever something silly happens. It's
Yeah.
They're just paying tribute to the times in the worst ways possible. No, actually, I do say.
Playground.
Sorry, go ahead. Look, Steve, this is your look at.
Well, actually, I do want to say real quick, this thing right here that you'll find spread throughout the game is a monster token. If you collect them, you can go to the monster gallery, which you can see on the side of the mansion in the back there. You go there, and you can actually unlock the in-game models for all of the monsters, and all of the monsters are taken straight from the cartoons. You see their 3D models, you see like a short little description of the monster and the episode they came from, and even little bits of trivia based on the series. Like, some of it's kind of no-brainer stuff, but some of it's also relatively interesting. Like, did you know that one of the original working titles for the series was Mystery 5?
Huh.
That makes sense.
Interesting. Also, what's the point of the Scooby snacks?
Scooby snacks, they don't really, for those, it's not like Coins of Mario where you get an extra life. In fact, there's actually unlimited lives in this game, so you don't have to worry about that.
Nice.
So basically, what
do you want from me? I'm a groundskeeper. Do I look like I got all the answers?
No, I didn't even talk.
Do you think I'd be a groundskeeper?
Yeah, that's something. Whenever you pass by him, he actually does, like, say silly stuff.
Oh, don't mind him. He's just getting going senile.
Oh, James, you were saying something earlier about how like this thing pays tributes to the classics in the worst way possible. Then you're about to say something.
Even though I do say it like that, I think this game's actually pretty decent. Like, it's not. I definitely prefer Battle for Bikini Bottom over this. And honestly, you could definitely tell with this game, like they were still trying to get their bearings. But honestly, for a 3D platformer, it's pretty decent.
There's a lot of warps and.
Yeah, basically, what we activated was a warp gate, and that's kind of helps you travel around the world and through all the different levels, as long as there's a warp gate activated in that area. And these things, those swirly things, that's part of the purpose of the Scooby Snacks. You need Scooby Snacks to unlock these Scooby Snack gates to help you get into certain areas, but there's also a stipulation for if you collect all the Scooby Snacks in an area, like for example, the area between here and the playground. You collect all the Scooby Snacks here, you actually unlock pieces of concept art.
Hey,
There you go.
that's pretty good. But anyway, so other than that, they're pretty much power stars from Mario 64 again.
In a much more condensed fashion.
Here we go.
Yeah, there's no real legitimate power stars.
Now, it's weird for me to say it like this, but some aspects of Night of the 100 Frights does kind of feel like a baby's first Metroidvania. And this stage is definitely a good example of that.
Is anyone out there?
You know what?
Daphne.
No, that's Holly. But it's actually funny you mentioned that, because I didn't think about that comparison, but the more I think about it, you're right, this is kind of like a 3D baby Metroidvania in a sense.
Yeah. I mean, it's not always like this, but there are going to be instances where you're not going to be able to progress until you get a certain invention.
Okay.
Scooby-Doo. I'm so glad you found me.
Again, pretty good voice acting.
Oh, it was just awful.
Yeah.
As soon as we got inside the
By the
mansion,
way, I guess spoilers because this game is
monster
super old. Does this woman turn out to be the villain
He
again?
told us that he is behind my uncle's disappearance.
Excuse me?
Then,
Because,
pulled out a lever,
not calling out spoilers,
trap
well, I
doors
mean,
opened
I
up,
can't call it a
and
spoiler
we
because this game
all
is so
went
old.
away.
Does
I've been
Daphne's
afraid
cousin
of
turn out to be the villain in the
ever
end?
since. Here,
Yes.
I knew it.
I
never
kind of
beat
knew it
this.
too.
I never beat this game, but I knew it.
In fact, there are some... The game does try to fake you up. I have instances where you can clearly see her and the mastermind, who is voiced by Tim Curry, by the way, in the same room, but they
Nice.
actually do have an explanation as to how they pull that off.
Well, they always do. They've always had it, and even in the live-action movie that sucked, they had an explanation for it.
Yep.
We didn't come to Scooby-Doo for explanations. We came for the canned laughter and chase scenes.
And Scooby Snacks.
And to see the villain behind the mask, which is
Yeah.
almost always red herring.
Which it was,
Not really.
and I love, and I don't know, I love when people try to get over analytical. Like someone said, I'm impressed with the message of Scooby-Doo that there are no real monsters in the world, just evil people, and evil people are the real monsters.
And then Zombie Island comes along to shoot yourself in the foot.
Well,
Yeah.
Zombie Island, I was
Oh,
actually
yeah.
going to go even earlier than that. I'd say like the 80s kind of shot all that in the foot.
Witch's Curse.
All right, with the 13 Ghost of Scooby-Doo.
That one.
Oh, yeah.
Mystery Incorporated.
Well, Mystery Incorporated is actually
Mystery
did-
Incorporated came out later.
Well, yeah,
But
even
still,
that's
just how I like in
that's
general,
actually a
like,
case of it actually doing something with the brand aside from just being cheap gags aplenty.
Here.
Well, because it's the idea of, sir, you realize you were handing a shovel to a dog.
But it's not just any dog. But yeah, that's also something that this game has, power-ups, which, like James elaborated earlier, there are going to be certain power-ups that you can use that help you progress through the game. Yes, you are. And some of them, and like we said, the reason we couldn't go further into the mansion there is because we need the helmet power-up to break through those cobwebs. Scooby does, at this point in time, have a regular attack, which is that random headbutt you saw earlier, but that only stuns larger enemies.
Okay. Meanwhile, the teleporting groundskeepers, apparently they live right next to a Lovecraftian fishing village.
Actually, listen.
So you might be wondering how I got over here so quickly.
Yeah.
Well, never mind. I'm strange and spooky.
There's your explanation.
Move along.
Well, he's gonna be honest with himself. I can't fault him for that. So,
Yeah,
okay.
well, honestly, like I mean, it's funny thinking about it because this game came out right around the same time that What's New Scooby-Doo started to become a thing, and it's funny that for this game they really stuck to the more campy nature of the original '70s show.
Well, I liked What's New Scooby-Doo.
Well, I do
Yeah, me
too to
too.
an extent, but I mean, it's just fun. It's just funny thinking back on that.
That's fair. In terms of time frames, yeah, you're right about What's New Scooby-Doo. Actually, I think this game was released around the time they were starting to release the first live-action movie. In fact, that thing and the main title, the bonus promos, is actually a trailer for the live-action movie. Or at least it is in the
caveman.
GameCube version. I think the place...
Whoa.
Yeah.
He's not the sheriff.
Nope. In fact, that's actually another thing I should also mention. Most of the enemies that you see in this game, aside from like the smaller fodder like rats and whatnot, every single enemy in this game is taken straight from the original series. Like you see the caveman, you see the creeper, and so on and so forth. And apparently they're here as like...
I was gonna say the weird tribal masked guy even.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. The shaman, whatever his name is. Witch doctor, sorry, but yeah, continue.
Yep. Oh boy. How are we gonna get past there?
Scooby-Doo, watch your language. Shaggy?
Shaggy to the rescue! I think.
Yep. And that's also another thing that happens every now and then. Every now and then you'll meet up with Shaggy, and you'll have to have him help you get past certain things. Like, for example, you'll need his help to pretty much unlock the way past that blockade there.
Well, that's good and all, but what about the other mystery gang?
You run into them occasionally. I remember one of the main chapters, you finally find Velma.
Oh yeah, that is something that they actually...
Wherever you are.
What are you doing?
Oops.
Oh, jeez.
Oh,
Hang on. Let me see if I can... Let's see. Shaggy, how about you weigh this down for me? Can you? Nope. He's not fat enough.
yeah, dude's got high metabolism.
Even with all that food, he still can't get fat.
And
Nice.
it's funny you mentioned that, Jordan, because I remember in one of the direct-to-DVD movies, I want to say it's the Mexican Monster one, they actually had like a fake interview with the gang, and the reporter actually said, "So Shaggy, even though you eat so much, you never gain a single pound." And Shaggy pretty much reveals that the secret to his weight loss is all the running away from the ghosts that he does just keeps him in such good shape. And they even further joke with that with like Shaggy talking about like this aerobics video they did, like sweating with the ghoulies.
Oh no!
I mean,
that sounds like something they totally would have done in the Ghoul School movie they did like back in the 80s.
I mean,
I love that one.
I mean, I'm not gonna fault him.
Another 60 years and then I can retire.
Ouch.
Maybe I'll take up gardening.
I mean, I'm not gonna fault them,
you were
and that's a pretty believable explanation. Because I don't know how much time we have left in this video, and I don't know if this will be the last lookout we do, but I'm sure it'll be the last one for a little while. What's your guys' experience with Scooby-Doo games, in period?
Food doesn't grow on trees.
Well, I don't think I've ever played any Scooby-Doo games, but I used to watch the show all the time when I was a kid, and I kind of still love it to this day.
I mean,
yeah,
I sort of echo her statements pretty much exactly. Like, I do have a big nostalgia spot for Scooby-Doo, like right down to the awesome Japanese animated movies like Zombie Island and Witch's Ghost. And of course, I've seen a lot of the original '60s cartoon, and well, we all remember how fucking campy those were.
Yeah,
kind of like this game here. But as far as the games are concerned, I didn't really get into them up until like the mid 2000s when I played the demo for the third one, which was the third 3D platformer, which was Unmasked.
Okay.
And that I thought was pretty decent, though I never got too far into it.
My experience.
Unmasked, I think, is. You go first.
The Phantom Divers, and apparently he has a brother. Power up!
Yep. Now we have the spring invention, which gives us the ability to double jump.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yay!
Oh, by the way, if you're wondering what that floating mystery van is, that's pretty much what you use to save your progress.
Okay.
Ah.
What was I gonna say?
And you're wondering, and for those that are wondering, hey, why don't you use that new double jump to jump? The tower makes it so that you can't jump or run. You need a certain power-up to help you with that.
Rats. But yeah, I definitely see where this is coming from. Yeah, I can see this as a Metroidvania. My experience started off with, like, I think an old Game Boy Color game, and then this was I definitely think this is the first game I put a lot of time into. I made it all the way up until the... I remember making it all the way up until the Black Knight, the Phantom Knight armor, whatever, what was it called?
The Black Knight.
Yeah,
which
I remember
is
making
one
it to
of,
that
that's
boss
one
fight.
thing I do want to say. Yeah, that's one thing I will say about the 900 Frights. The boss, in terms of bosses, there's few of them, and they're honestly really spread out.
Yeah. So I remember the Black Knight took a long while. But anywho, I remember having fun with it. The only other Scooby-Doo game I ever really played to completion, because I never beat this one, unfortunately. The only one I ever played to completion was Mystery Madness, or whatever it's called.
I think it's Mystery Mayhem.
Mystery Mayhem, you mean?
Mystery Mania. Yeah, Mystery Mayhem. And I actually
which is basically
liked
not Luigi's Mansion.
Which, again, I liked it. James maybe not, but I liked it.
It's not that I didn't like it. I just didn't. I don't know. Something about it didn't really turn me on. Unlike, say, this one and Unmasked.
Well, wait, you.
I don't mean it in that.
You shouldn't be watching Scooby-Doo for that.
I don't mean it in that context, Scooby.
Okay. But yeah. I guess we're about to end here. So, Hype, closing thoughts on this game in particular? Do you think this is still a fun game that could hold up and people should try it out today?
I would say so. Like, I think from a technical standpoint, it's aged pretty well. And I can't really think of anything that's, like... As far as difficulty, I think it's fairly accessible. I mean, to be fair, this is kind of a kid's game, so I don't expect it to be, like, totally obnoxious in that regard. There are a few points where you'll get a little bit surprised with, like, depth perception and whatnot, but otherwise it's really smooth sailing from beginning to end. And I kind of agree, it is one of my... I do think it's... Of the three games, it's probably my second favorite, with Unmasked being my first. And a lot of Unmasked is that, even though it's kind of in some respects a Crash Bandicoot clone, I still enjoy it just because of how tight it is, how smooth it is, and also the fact that of the three, it's the best looking of the games, like especially in terms of actually matching the art style of the cartoon.
Well, it also helps too. That game came out fairly late into the I forget what generation of games that was. I want to say that was like 6th or 7th. But whatever the case, yeah, it was pretty late into that generation, and I think it paid off.
All right.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that was Scooby-Doo 900 Frights. Whenever I get the chance, or if I get the chance, I'll try to see if I could do more Scooby games for the channel. And I hope you all enjoy the video, and until next time, I'm Hyper Voice Acting.
I'm JamesmanXtreme.
Okay. There, I forgot you have to go first. I messed that up.
It's okay.
Can't do it very well.
I'm dying of laughter.
I don't know how people can do that voice. Bye, everybody.
Right.